Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Mini Moon, Small Moon, Little Moon, Reenie here, and today I want to talk about, you know, folks who make a big deal about the Deek Sailor Moon. Because there are folks out there who do make a big deal about it. Folks who, I guess after 30 or 31 or 32 years, or how many years ago it was, still gotta make a big deal about the following things. The word playing, yeah, there are still folks in this world who still make a big deal about the show playing. You know, that think that the show players did not play themselves or speak for themselves the way that they thought that they should. I don't know what standard they thought they had. I don't know how they thought they would talk like. But in their mind, they don't like the folks who did the speaking for them. Why? Who knows? Making a big deal about names. Yes, I kid you not, there are some folks in the Sailor Moon followership who make a big deal about Dawnish borrow names being borrowed out for Latinist / Frenchist borrow names, Hebrew borrow name, Hellenic borrow names, and I guess we could say Farsi borrow names. Yes, he's in Blacklandish borrow names. Yeah, but in some grounds in the Sailor Moon followership, folks make a big deal about the Dawnish borrow names being borrowed out for other borrow names, you know? And they also make a big deal about the skimming or the shifting or the cleaning. You know, they behave as if, that it A takes away from the saga, or somehow in their mind they think it besmirches the Deek Sailor Moon. Why they feel this way, who knows, but they feel that way. And they talk about, you know, then they also like to bitch and say, oh, well, there's no tail. Oh, well, the tail's still there, you know. And it still plays out the same way. So yeah, the tale of, friendship, being frightened but still being bold at the same time, overcoming a bind. Yeah, it's all there. Even if things were shifted or skimmed or cleaned, they're still there. Um, some of them are upset over Zoisite being a man. Now, keep in mind, some folks upset over Zoisite being a woman, and it's true, they are. But these folks who make a big thing out of it, they tend to forget that in the late 1900s and or even going to early 20s, the oversight, the standard, the mindset, and the trust and understanding, which is now is greater than what it was back then. They seem to think that Zoisite being a woman is a bad thing. They think they have a belief that it was done for the wrong grounds. Well, keep in mind at that time, there were oversights about what you could and could not have in a drawing show if it was made for children. And yes, back then, a lot of folks thought that any unstraight selves was wrong, even though it's not wrong, but that's what they believed. So that's why Deke had to shift Zoisite to a woman. And also upset that, 2 episodes became one. What was one episode became, yeah, they do, I kid you not. They do make a big deal about the end of following one, the Sailor Moon, being one whole following instead of being broken down into at least 2 or 3 followings as it was handled in a Toei world and a Viz world. Why they make a big deal of it, I don't know. But they do. And these are just some of the things. Oh, and strike names, and street names, and near names being shifted. They make a big deal about that too. Why? Why has it irked them? Why has it angered them? I don't know. But in some grounds, it does irk them. And I'll see you all later.